Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily. Des here. Who's ready for some midweek motivation? What I like to do on a Wednesday is encourage and inspire people to stay on top of everything they're doing. Of course, through Do Running, we offer the Wednesday workout, a mixture of challenges, tips and advice on what activities we can do to feel good about ourselves. Simple things to just make the most of and take forward. When the week can climb on top of us, when it can get busy, what we have to try and do is maintain positivity if we've got it. If we are struggling a little bit, it's just to try and find some. I always say that one positive action leads on to another. So if you can sort of create your own energy, create some spirit, you'll definitely sort of head into the back end of the week feeling good about yourself. And we all kind of look back at the end of the week, don't we? Probably subconsciously more than anything, we look back and sort of evaluate and say, oh God, I've had a shocker. It'll crop up in conversations, or I've had a really nice week, And we all want the latter, don't we? We all want to feel good about what we're doing. So that's why I encourage sort of participation in what we do, or just sort of finding ways to enjoy the things you do, or just listening into what others are doing. If we're doing nothing, it can quite easily get on top of us. And I've explained all that, so I'm not going to go into it too deep again, but it's just about sort of working through and doing our absolute best. And what I want to do today, first of all, before I talk about something I don't normally talk about, I'm actually going to mention lockdown and the pandemic. It's something I really try and avoid through DOdaily, because I only see it as a negative most of the time, but I think there's something worthwhile mentioning. But what I'm going to do first of all is just kind of mention where I'm at, almost check in myself, because we all need to do that. And I've mentioned recently that it's been a bit of a tough time, despite putting on a front, and being positive and doing all the things I do, because they really help. I can only try and create that positivity, and it does work most of the time, but there has been things I can't control which have been really upsetting, really concerning. But I've just had sort of a glimmer of hope with one or two things, which have helped put me in a even more positive frame of mind. I mentioned a lot recently how emotions can be temporary, and kind of got by on that thought, realising that things will always improve no matter what it is, even if it seems like the worst scenario in the world, the worst situation, there's always going to be a better day. There's certain things we really can't control in life, and when they crop up we have to deal with them, but if we put ourselves in a position to do it, like I talk about as the week goes on, as things come at us from a work point of view or family point of view, if we put ourselves in good stead, we can deal with it, and we can try to understand it a lot more. And when we understand, everything becomes that little bit easier to deal with, and that's kind of where I'm at with that. Like I say, a few little bits of good news, nothing that resolves situations, but just a glimmer of hope. And that really helps me when I'm looking at where I'm at, evaluating as I am all the time, whether it's at the beginning, start, or the end of the week. Really helps me sort of drive forward again, and do the things I really enjoy. And that's what Wednesday's all about, guys. I purposely I've set up this plan I work to through DOdaily, through the Do Running community, of Monday motivation, trying to instill some positivity into the minds of those looking in, and then we follow it up with group activity, because when you do something together, it always feels fantastic, doesn't it? When you feel part of something, when you're working with others, that's fantastic. And then on a Wednesday, what we like to do is keep the activity flowing, back up the Tuesday, really start pushing on, to see where we can potentially get, and if we take that for a whole week, and then towards the weekend we'll start the next week in a good frame of mind. And it's just about sort of eat, sleep, work, repeat, all that kind of thing. Just just doing the things that we know work, because when we do the simple things, we get so much more enjoyment from it. I know a lot of people are missing sort of the chance to meet up, the chance to do things in large numbers and get enjoyment in that sense. That's one of the best feelings, isn't it? I'm not denying that. But also, sometimes less is best. And if we find something we really enjoy doing, we can make the absolute most of it. One thing I've done, I do it every Wednesday, I do it every day. I made a sort of pledge at the start of the year to walk every single day in 2021, and I've managed to do that. At least 30 minutes, at least a mile and a half, I get out there for a walk, no matter how I'm feeling, because I know that works. Whilst I made that pledge, I also like to work to 30 minutes exercise a day. I'd like to think I could do that running, but unfortunately I've not been able to do that. But I like to work to that, so kind of ticking 2 boxes for myself here, not for anyone else, for myself, so I can look back every single day and say, I've done that, I've done what I set out to do. And what the situation's shown is that we can't always do that, and I think that's important to mention. I think it's important to sort of realise how we can make our own sort of energy, how we can create our own positive thinking. Whilst I'm trying to sort of help and inspire, and we use different motivations each day, it's important just to realise that we can do it. And what I really sort of encourage on a Wednesday is taking that time out. The reason we create challenges and different exercises and things like that is just to take time out. And I hear a lot of people say, I can't get involved in that because I'm too busy with work. Well, that's absolutely rubbish, isn't it? Because I've just allowed myself 30 minutes there. I'm busy, might not be as busy as some. Kind of got a nice work-life balance as it is, but I'm busy, but we have to allow ourselves a bit of time, whether it's 10, 15, 30 minutes, because what that does is gives you time to sort of collect your thoughts, clear your mind, and move forward. If you can't spare yourself 10 minutes, then you're really in the wrong job, because what are you actually working for if you can't spare that? Everybody can sort of find some point during the day. There's lots of hours, there's lots of different periods to work at, even if you've got families to support and jobs to do and things like that, there's always time. On a Friday I get up first thing to get out there and sort of really attack the day, and if it's a case of that, it can just set you off and keep you going, because we have to sort of keep building that positive energy, even sometimes when we feel absolutely on top of everything. We have to keep building, don't we? We have to take it forward. And like I say, I thought that was all really important to mention, because right now I'm kind of noticing, I've made a few observations of how things have sort of panning out around me in terms of these loosening of restrictions and how people are dealing with the pandemic, and all of a sudden things are starting to feel very normal again, aren't they? Whilst there's still a lot we can't do, and we still have to be really cautious about how we mix and keep our distance and things like that, things are starting to become normal. The roads are busy, everybody, the shops are busy, everybody's out and about, and whilst the pubs aren't open, the beer gardens are, so people are making the most of that. But what I almost want to do with that, why I've mentioned that, is because I want people to remember what's worked for them during the lockdown. What a lot of us have done is pick up extra activity, create new habits, create new routines, and it was so easy just to click back to how it were, because that's what we know and that's what we missed, and this is the way we did it before. But how many times have we heard that, and how dangerous it can be? This is the way we've always done it. We have to realise what works for us, what's the best outcome. Me, as much as anyone, wants things to go back to how they were. I've got lots of things that I used to do that I'm going to pick back up, But because it's a Wednesday, because it's the time we look at where we're at, we evaluate, how it's going and where we can try to improve things for ourselves. I think it might be also worth looking at that in general. Lots of people who use the pandemic as an excuse not to be active, not to be positive, moaned and complained that it's really getting to them. This is an opportunity to sort of improve that mood with it, but also sort of stop complaining. Do what works for you. Time to go again. And we all have to find that. Whenever something bad happens in life, we all get to a point where, as unfortunate as it can be, we have to move forward. And I think we're at that sort of stage with this whole pandemic now. Nothing is going to go back to exactly how it was. Nothing is going to be exactly the same. So it's time for you to kind of make your own sort of positivity, create your own energy, make your own luck almost. Things will just fall into place if you're attacking things in the right frame of mind. And that's what Wednesdays are about. It's just sort of using all that to move forward and give it a real go. I wanted to kind of share how I was feeling, and also my thoughts on the pandemic, because I think it'll be easy to get all too consumed by the old reality, when the reality now is it's not going to exactly go back to that. So let's not strive for how it was. Let's create our own future. Let's create a better future. Where such things as pandemics, should they happen again, fingers crossed not in our lifetime, but should these things happen, we're a lot more prepared and we're a lot more positive in dealing with it. And that's all it's about. Like I say, I've had to dig really, really deep recently to stay on top of things. I realised that things have upset me, things that shouldn't have upset me, comments people have made, feeling like I've been questioned here and there, stuff that would normally be water off a duck's back has got to me. But as long as I can sort of realise that, understand why I'm letting it get to me, I can always move forward. So that's all I'm saying, guys. Use the time, right now. Have a look at how you've dealt with things, whether it's this week, whether it's this month, whether it's this year, or whether it's through the whole pandemic, because if we don't do that, we won't know how to take things forward. I'm feeling that much better again. Getting out for a run last night really, really helped. Feeling great about my injury holding up, whilst it wasn't fast, particularly fast. I was pleased with the time, so we've got to go off those things, haven't we? That's progress from where I was the day before. I'm going to get out and do some activity today. If you can, or if you can do something that makes you feel great, take that 10 minutes to do it. If you don't, all of a sudden things might creep up, and you might be looking back at the end of the week thinking, what have I done with it? That's the last thing we want, isn't it? Let's be really, really positive. Let's keep the good spirit going, keep the good feeling, keep encouraging and supporting each other, and keep working to whatever we can do, because when we work into a plan, we're preparing things, planning things in, we're feeling so much better. Looking forward to things, it's great, isn't it? We all have that sort of tinge of excitement when certain things happen, so whilst I'm encouraging a little bit of evaluation, it's also about sort of letting yourself be excited about the possibilities of what you can do, not what you can't. What's gone is gone, what's coming is completely down to you, the way you deal with it, the way you enjoy it, the way you approach it. The ball is in your court. So that's all I want to say today, guys. Hopefully that made sense. There's a bit of a few messages in there, but hopefully it made sense. Please like, share and subscribe, all the usual things. Just trying to sort of pass across a few thoughts, be honest, relatable, and keep using the week, to keep being positive, particularly midweek, when we need to find that midweek motivation. you know, it's important to keep spreading the word, keep pushing the message that we can all have it the way we want it. So until tomorrow and Thursday Thoughts, please post in your questions, please answer that throwback. Where was your favourite PB? What made it your favourite PB? Do you know, as somebody who runs, we have lots of different race distances, PBs and things like that. So if you've got one in particular, the reason it stands out, please comment below. Love to hear those so I can share them with everybody on Thursday Thoughts tomorrow. Until then, guys, make sure you get out and do some activity. It's a little bit chilly, but it's definitely worth getting out. Until tomorrow, just doing it.